What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. Today's video is another 30-year retrospective. In this case, I'm going to be talking about the debut album from AZ, Doe or Die. This came out 30 years ago today on October 10th, 1995. And before I get into the album, allow me to talk about AZ just for a brief moment. Like most of you listening to this, the first time I heard AZ was, of course, on Nas's Illmatic album, courtesy of the classic Life's a Bitch song. When I heard that verse, which to this day is probably the best verse that he's ever had, I've been a fan ever since. And believe it or not, y'all, there was one time in 1996, but it was only for a short time, where I liked AZ more than I like Nas, which is a testament to how good he was and quite frankly still is. Now, of course, if you know me, you know that I don't like anybody more than Nas. But again, there was one point when I found myself liking AZ a little bit more, but that didn't last long. I just wanted to share that. And one more thing before I get to the album. Of all of AZ's albums, this one has the most nostalgic vibe with me. It's been part of my collection basically since it came out. I had the cassette in late 1995, and then I ended up getting the CD several months later in 1996. And with that being said, we're going to get right into the album. Again, this is AZ's debut, Doe or Die, released 30 years ago today, October 10th, 1995. We start with number one, the intro. This was co-produced by Lunatic Mind and AZ. Now, let me tell y'all something about this one. When I first heard this intro, I remember getting really hyped for the rest of the album. I can even recall a time when I rewound it back a few times, even before I got to the next song. Now, when an intro does that, you know you have the makers of a great album ahead. And speaking of great, that takes us to song number two, Uncut Raw, co-produced by AZ, and it was produced by a cat named Luce. When I first heard this one, I could not stop bobbing my head. And when you talk about a fast-paced banger, it's almost as if he was laying quietly in the cut after Life's a Bitch, and this was an immediate follow-up to that. The flow during each verse is just so clear-cut, and the way he keeps up with the beat, y'all, is just nothing short of awesome. 5 out of 5 for this one. Next up, song number three, Give Me Yours. Additional vocals by Nas, produced by Pete Rock. Give me, just give me, for the NYC. Give me what you can't get back. Give me, why don't you give me the world? Give me what you can't get back, for the 5 boroughs. And here come AZ right out the gate. Yo, it's hard to show resistance when money getting niggas need my assistance to stack figures beyond non-existence. Fuck keeping my distance, cause being poor produce persistence. Plus please 100 G's will have me blocking out a jail sentence. Man, look, let me tell you something. The way he started that song was nothing short of incredible, and you can tell he had a way with words even at this point, making you believe it's not what you say but how you say it. And then he just keeps on with it. So in God I trust, I lust for an 850 deluxe, and until I touch $1 million plus, say much to discuss. Diamonds in double digits, Gianni Versace down with lizards. It's realism, so I visualize it delivered. The wordplay is just nice, and something I'm going to go into at various points throughout the rest of this album is the lust for the finer things in life. Mad money, nice cars, fine jewelry, women. It's all but apparent here. He's not saying give me yours in the sense that he's going to go all out and take what you have, but what he's saying is that he wants what you have plus more. And at this point, it was a rare thing to have Nas on the hook, even if it was slightly off beat, but his contribution adds to another great song. And the song was so great that there was an Eric Sermon remix that came out in 1996, and that one was just as dope too. 5 out of 5 for this one. Next up, we got song number 4, Ho Happy Jackie, produced by the underrated Buck Wild. And again, right out the gate, AZ already letting you know what time it is. He says, whoever thought that the sweet thing born modern material that hated hot cereal could grow to be a high silly hoe? Those lines right there describe Ho Happy Jackie, a young lady corrupted by the allure of rich men, single or married, materialistic possessions, and all things related. And AZ, what he talks about in this song is how she's essentially out for one person and one person only, herself. She'll do whatever it takes to make sure she's taken care of, having no feelings regarding who she hurts in the process. Whether this was a true story or not, women like this were out there even 30 years ago, and I wouldn't be surprised if women like this were still running rampant 30 years later. The closer of this song, she gets a taste of her own medicine. And before I get to song number 5, let me make this note to the ladies listening. Listen closely to this song, because if you're a self-respecting woman of any age and race, you don't want to be a whole happy Jackie. And that's all I'm going to say about that. 5 out of 5 for this song. All right, next up we have song number 5, Rather Unique, produced by Pete Rock. He says, "You can try to blind me, analyze, but can't define me. My mind's divine, heavily entwined with Gandhi's." And it's lines like that that don't even begin to scrape the surface of how lyrically sharp and awesome this aptly titled song is, complete with a well-timed Big Daddy Kane sample courtesy of another classic in Just Rhyming with Biz. Without a doubt, one of his finest songs ever. 5 out of 5 for this song. Oh, and he also says, "Raps demolishing, certified the way I style it. My wordplay blaze with the rays of ultraviolet." Enough said. Incredible. Next up, we have song number 6, "I Feel For You," produced by Amar, co-produced by AZ, with background vocals by Erica Scott. It seemed as if AZ was going for some type of story to start this off, but it ended up being just another song. I'm not saying that in a bad way at all, but what made this one work well was the continued nice lyricism throughout. 4 out of 5 for this song. And speaking of nice, that takes us to Sugar Hill, song number 7, featuring Miss Jones, produced by Elias, in a world classic. This was the album's lead single, and this is one of the most laid-back songs you'll ever hear. I mean, from start to finish, it's smooth, and I love the way Sugar Free is sampled by Elias. I just love it. I recall some heads back in the day thinking this was a little too commercial, but as the album's first/lead single, I disagree with that. Just about everything worked with this song. The lyrics, the beat, Miss Jones on the hook, the continued lust for the finer things in life, and of course, this is a song that generated buzz for him and this album. 5 out of 5. Definitely a classic. Next up, we have song number 8, "More Money, More Murder, Homicide," featuring Nas, produced by DR Period, in which AZ says, "My caliber got me thinking on the higher algebra. See me, I'm just as foul as you, but you ain't got no style in you." The one thing this song has in common with Life's a Bitch is that ever so present chemistry between Nas and AZ. It was on full display here, because other than that, both of those songs are different from each other. And this one features the continuation of Nas Escobar as he links up with AZ Sosa, leading to the birth of the Firm. More great stuff here. 5 out of 5 for this one. Song number 9 is "Born Alone, Die Alone." This was a brief interlude, I think. It was produced by Lunatic Minds and AZ, and it takes us right into the title track, song number 10, "Doe or Die," produced by N.O. Joe. AZ flows so well over N.O. Joe's production. Longtime fans, y'all know N.O. Joe, he's famous for his contributions with Rap-A-Lot Records. It's clear that AZ wants it all, and he explains it so thoroughly on this appropriately titled title track. 5 out of 5. It's like a jungle sometimes. It's like a jungle sometimes. It's like a jungle sometimes. The weed smoke makes me wonder how I keep from going under. Song number 11, we have "We Can't Win," featuring Amar. This was also produced by Amar and co-produced by AZ. And it didn't hit me until years after the fact that this is a deep song. And it was relevant then, it was relevant 10 years after the fact, 20 years after the fact, and it's relevant 30 years later as well. They mostly talk about the negative influences of our society at the time, as well as the Illuminati, something that's still talked about today, but on a much lesser scale than it was in 1995. Good song, 4 out of 5 for it. Next up, we have song number 12, "Your World Don't Stop." This was originally produced by Spunk Biggs, but it was remixed by Ski, another underrated producer. I gotta give credit to Genius.com because they accurately described this excellent song as AZ, quote unquote, coming from the perspective of a convict trying to lay low and make his way out of prison alive. The track also speaks on the evils of injustices of the prison system and relates to the hardships that go through on a day-to-day basis. 4 out of 5. It's a great song, but I like the remix even better, and the remix came out in 1996. Definitely a good song. And next up, we have the last song on the album, number 13, Sugar Hill Remix, also produced by LES. This one, it does have the same lyrics as the original, along with a nicely worked stylistic sample courtesy of People Make the World Go Round. I also think that it doesn't pack the same smooth punch as the original, but it's still very good. Y'all let me know in the comments which one is better, the original or the remix, especially if you listen to both of them back to back. All right, so after the Sugar Hill remix closes the album, I can now go into my final thoughts. I do think the promotion of the album could have been better than what it was in retrospect, even if it did have an October 10th release date in 1995. And like I always say, not only is 1995 my favorite year in hip hop history, but it was a stacked year. So unfortunately, this album was slept on when it came out. But I'm going to give it its flowers because not only is Doe or Die AZ's best album, it's one of the most underrated albums you'll ever hear. And it's one hell of a way to make a debut. And even though his career will continue from here, that buzz that he had from 1994 to 1996, we wouldn't see it again, unfortunately. But I still give him props for still putting in work because I'm going to tell you something. His discography is stellar, one of the most underrated discographies in hip hop. Overall, I'll go with 5 mics for this one. Definitely a hip hop classic. And with that being said, y'all think I'm done? Oh no. What I have in my hand is a copy of Nicholas Polinov's review from the November 1995 issue of the Source magazine with Eric Summer on the cover. I don't have that issue currently, but if you know me, y'all know I'm trying to get my hands on a copy of it. And I'm going to read this verbatim. When AZ borrows Melly Mel's famous chorus from The Message, Is Like a Jungle Sometimes, on the title track for Do or Die, he isn't doing it as a gimmick or a tribute. He's simply expanding on a theme used by all great MCs throughout hip hop's survival. For masters like G-Rap and Rakim, tales of striving and surviving were the fuel to their verbal fire. Now the mic has been passed to the next school of reality-hardened street poets. Rising out of the darkness and ignorance of the gangster era, AZ represents the MC who tries to overcome negativity instead of succumbing to it. The track that best represents AZ's philosophy is Homicide, a tag team effort with Nas that reflects upon the dangers of living foul. On Born Alone, Die Alone, the song's Chilling in Peace, AZ expresses raw fear and confusion. AZ also stands apart from his Lucci desiring peers, because his brand of materialism is collective. In the Pete Rock produced Give Me Yours, his talk about moving cleverly with intentions of longevity isn't selfish, but expresses a desire for the good life on behalf of ghetto sufferers everywhere. Another talent that differentiates AZ is his ability to inject political awareness into his rhymes, portraying politicians as the perpetrators of misery that they are, and he makes this case on rather unique. It's little bits of wisdom found in this song, and the 5% knowledge dropped on tracks like We Can't Win that display his special type of consciousness. AZ doesn't preach, nor does he claim to be a leader. He's the visualizer, illuminating the painful truths of ghetto reality through layer upon layer of on-point rhymes. But Do or Die ain't all about lyrical skill. AZ assembled an all-star squad of producers to help bring the noise, that being Pete Rock, Buck Wild, LES, DR Period, N.O. Joe, just to name a few. Luce creates the perfect sonic background for Uncut Raw with a sinister keyboard loop and tight drum track. Ho Happy Jackie features funky female background vocals hooked up by Buck Wild, and the Sugar Hill remix by LES has a hardness that the original version lacks. That's an interesting point right there. All the producers have succeeded in laying down dope tracks while keeping AZ's rapid fire flow at the forefront. The skill level presented on Do or Die pieces AZ at the forefront of East Coast rhymes, up there with Biggie, Chef Raekwon, and his homie Nas. This is really some next shit. Wow. Those are some interesting points right there. And this was a good review by Nicholas Polinov. He gave it 4 mics, but like I said, 5 mics for me. It's a classic. Overall, man, shout out to AZ and everybody who had a hand in this album 30 years later. It's aged like fine wine. If you haven't played it in a long time, definitely take the CD out or throw it in on Spotify. If you're new to AZ, I definitely would recommend starting here and working your way forward because, like I said, this album is a classic and everything else in this discography is either solid or excellent. Can't go wrong with AZ the Visualizer. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and close the video. If you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button and drop some comments. Let me know your thoughts on this album specifically and AZ in general. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves and remember, it's like a jungle sometimes. It's like a jungle sometimes. It's like a jungle sometimes. The weed smoke makes me wonder how I keep from going under. And y'all know I don't smoke. Take care, y'all.